Hey guys, welcome to slightly late Make With Me Monday. My name is Robin French-Smith. I am one of the moderators on this group, and today I'm making embeds. So I'm just gonna be really honest with you. This is a new setup. Last week, I bought one of those things, and tell me if you've ever done this, where you buy something that's going to make your life easier, and instead it like wrecks everything for a good few days. So I had bought something that was going to make my life easier, and it didn't fit where it was supposed to fit, and then so like I had to like move all this stuff around for it. I mean, I'm happy with this new setup, but it's a different setup. So this is literally the first time I've made anything with this setup. So we're gonna see. I'm making embeds today though. I'm having to make embeds for my Valentine's products. So I was just gonna show you guys how I do a quick bloom. I kind of hit this last Monday, with the yellow that we did. But this is a little bit different because we're using embeds, and so I'm just going to show you guys how I do that. Now, there's lots of different ways to make embeds, and we actually have, I believe in the Color MasterClass, we did a whole embed thing. So there's more details that could be involved in this that I'm going to just skip over. But if you've ever made embeds before, you don't need all that. And if you haven't made embeds before, then you know you can catch up on that when you're ready for it. But sorry, hey, I don't know where I have like a tub that is like where I dump my stuff. I don't know where my dump tub is. So this is red 28 dye. I heated up a little bit of water and I have it in there. I'm just kind of dissolving it in there. That was an 1/8 teaspoon, because red 28 is very potent, very powerful. And I'm gonna put that into my pre-sifted baking soda. Actually, I'm gonna add to this 10 grams. Oh. I'm gonna add some oil to this before I even mix it. So I have all that wet stuff in there mixing on its own. Now the thing about embeds, y'all, you have to, and feel free to correct me if you do it differently, okay? Or to say like, I don't do it like that. My experience with embeds is that you have to work quick, and you have to work in smaller batches, because they dry out. They just dry out like really quickly. So I think, oops, hold on. I think in the Color MasterClass, I'm pretty sure that I meant to do my embeds as dyes, and I did them as lakes, just because I think that's what I was doing, and I'm so used to using lakes for everything. I love lakes. Like, I love lakes. They're my favorite way to color bath bombs. But with embeds, if you really want that like powerful color thing, you definitely want some dye in there. You can use lakes. You can do that. I have done that. You just have to use a lot more. So, you know, it's kind of worth it if you can do dyes. So I'll show you what this looks like. If I had just mixed the dye powder in, this would be like really pale and would have kind of little flecks in it. But because I did it this way, It's basically balloons, but it's wet. So if I mix my citric acid in here, I better be ready to play because it's gonna go. So the options are to stir it up a little bit more, give it a little bit more time to dry. I'm gonna keep the lid off now that it's not loose, right, and dusty. I'm gonna fly around. That's gonna help it dry out a little bit. So, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to use to make my embeds. There are lots of different ways to make embeds. So the original way that I was taught to make embeds was to put them in those tiny ice cube trays and just knock them out, and like that's how it's told to do it, and that doesn't work for me. It works for some people. I am not one of those people. It does not work for me. The other way that I saw somebody doing one time, and I was like, oh, that's brilliant, I'm gonna do that, is they would lay their mix into their tray, use a straight cutter, and cut and do that. And that I did that for a while. That does work. What I don't like about that is that I get some that are like really thin and then some that are thicker, and then I don't know why this is straight. Like logic would say you just follow the line that you made and you can make a straight line, but like for some reason that is beyond my capacity as a human to achieve. I cannot do that. So I'd have like really wonky shaped, like, you know, parallelograms and trapezoids and stuff like that. So I just decided I just dealt with that for a while until Heather from Chunkadust posted that she had one of these embed makers, and so I snagged that up really quick, and I love using this thing. It actually makes embeds fun for me. It's like, so doing embeds used to be something that I dreaded. I would just wait and wait and wait until the last second to make my embeds. Most of my bath bombs, I just wouldn't do it because it wasn't fun for me. I didn't enjoy it. So this way for me, I don't know why, but I really enjoy making them with this little embed maker. So the this is the bigger size, and then there's a smaller size. What I like to do is this edge, right, that does like a triangle. So I like to make sure that the flat part is down and is on the flat plate. And then I'm going to use that side to fill, so that way when you flip it over, you have something for your fingers to push on when you pop it out. Okay, so I'm going to add my pre-sifted citric to my baking soda, and we're going to see what happens. Everything should be fine. It should be fine. Now, this is not knocking at all. Like, if you are successful at making embeds with like the straight in the pan and the cutty thing, girl, rock it, do that. It just does not work for me. Does not work for me. But I see no problem with doing that if it works for you. And the recipe for this, I mean, there's all different ways to make embeds. This is a really simple recipe. So here's the thing about embeds. Like, it's gonna feel dry. It's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel sandy. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. Like, it does, like, all your bath bomb red flags should be going off. Like, no, this isn't right. Don't do this. Stop, you're making a mistake. And like, you just gotta push down that negativity and tell yourself that it's gonna be fine. Okay. I used to weigh these, and I don't do that anymore. Hold on, let me move some of this stuff so I don't knock it over. I used to weigh it. I found that it just comes out basically the same no matter what I do. So, okay, I'm just going to kind of fill it in like so. You're not squishing it down, like you're not pressing it down really hard, but you are making sure that it's full, okay? The harder you press it in, the harder they're gonna be to pop out. So, you know, if you're having like a really hard time getting them to pop out, you might have packed them in a little bit tight. It's okay. It's fine. Like there's no problem with doing that. And then I just always try to make sure that I'm hitting those edges, the side pieces really well. Side piece, haha. The side pieces really well because those are going to get the, those have the tendency to be like the least filled. And then I'm just going around the edges first to make sure the edges are really packed in. Like if you're going to have a problem with it, it's just going to be that some of the pieces are going to be like a little bit crumbly, maybe, on the edges. But that's okay. Like, it's okay. Ooh. Let me find a knocker. This will do. Okay. So I'm going to take off this flat piece. And I'm just like rocking it down. That little part where it pops out is wonderful. Now I've seen Heather, she has a post on her Chunkadust site where she like shows all the different ways to unmold these. She shows people just like popping them out. I can't do that. I like to lay it on the flat side and then just kind of slide them out just to make sure, just to preserve the integrity of them. I mean, eventually you're gonna, some of your embeds are gonna crumble up. And then you just do the whole thing over again, over and over and over. I'll like make embeds every, I don't know. I like to just do like a whole bunch of them in one go. So I typically will have like my bowls lined out with my baking soda and my citric acid separate. Don't put your, they will activate. If they're just sitting in the bowl together looking all innocent, they are actually doing things. So they're that baking soda and citric acid are actually combining. They don't need water. They don't need oil. They're actually combining. So yeah, I just tend to keep them separate until I'm ready to go. But yeah, you can like line them all out, get them ready to go, and then you can just knock out like a whole bunch in one day. Especially if it's like all the same color, that makes it really easy. And I'll definitely post the link for this if somebody hasn't already done it, or I'll post the link for it anyway because, you know, people don't often, sometimes people don't go through and read all the comments to see when other people have commented with what the link is and stuff. So just going to, like so, put it on there, flip it over. Ta-da! They look like little tiny pink sugar cubes. They're so cute. I used to get really extra like this and like push them off like this. Just because like aesthetically I like the look of them all lined up on the tray neatly, but then I throw them in a bag. So it doesn't really matter, does it? The good thing about this is that my kids actually like, they don't help me, that would be a stretch, but they enjoy it. Like they'll sit here and talk to me usually while I'm making embeds because there's something about them popping out at the end that is like really satisfying. So, and I did a slightly bigger batch than I like, and I'm saying slightly, like 50 grams more of baking soda, 50 grams more of citric acid than I normally do, because I was having like, and I'm just seeing like how many embeds I get out of it, because with my other batch size I was getting like 3.5 rounds of the embed maker. So just kind of wanted to see what I needed to do to not have half rounds, half presses, whatever. Is this much pressing necessary? I don't know, but I do it. It's like habit. It's like luck. You just have to like, it's like, you just have to keep doing it that way because you've always done it that way. Like soccer players who wear the same underwear, okay? Basketball players who have to dribble the ball 15 times before they can shoot their free throw, like whatever it is. Do not upset the bath bomb gods. If you've found the way to make them happy, you just keep doing it that way. Like, if you think that your recipe is perfect, then just leave it alone. Like, don't tweak it if you like it where it is, okay? Because don't worry, eventually they're gonna come in and like laugh at you, and you know, yeah, it'll happen. Okay, so this should be the last. This should be the last filler up. We'll see how many we get out of this. So yeah, basically I used the water. That would be my binder. Now some people don't even use binder at all when they make embeds, okay? But I do. So I used the water. That would be my binder. And I used that to bloom, quote unquote, my dye. So they got this beautiful, bright, vibrant color without having to dye it, bloom it the night before, leave it in my thing, have it sifting, put it in pans that are open, stick it in the oven, or all the other voodoo things that we do to try to like get our colors bloomed. I don't have space for that, and I don't really have like patience or time for that. So this is just a way that you can get that beautiful bright color without having to do all that extra work. That's if you use water as your binder. If you use alcohol as your binder, it might not work for you. I don't know. I used alcohol as my binder for like my first couple batches of bath bombs, and they just turned to powder. So I'm in the South. A lot of people, it's very humid here, and I know a lot of people who are in the South where it's humid. We use water as our binder, and it works great for us. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a science or reason behind it, but I don't know what it is. All right, there's just enough to make, see, I thought I was gonna not have extra, and I didn't have extra. That's okay. I just didn't want to go too big, right? I didn't want to make too, like, increase my recipe too much, because it will dry out, and it will dry out very quickly. It will dry out. You will blink your eye. You will go let the dog outside because he's whining at the door, okay? And you can come back and they're like dried up, and that's it. It's like they're done. So it's like super, super quick. They move super quick. This is not the one to like play around with as far as like, oh gosh, I really want to listen to an audiobook while I'm making, but like, what do I listen to? And then you're like looking through Audible for something to listen to. Like, No, girl, have your Netflix queued up. Have your audiobook ready to go. Make sure the cat is in or out, whichever one he wants to be at the moment. Okay? You gotta have all that stuff. Make sure your children have the cheese sticks and the juice boxes and all that stuff. Because once you start, like, this is happening. It's happening. Okay, that's not bad actually, as far as like having to do like an extra portion, because at least it's even. Okay, and then let's pop this out. And then I will go through and see if there are any questions. I'm sure there are questions. I will share the links for where I get my colorants now, and I use water soluble dyes, and those are from Nurture Soap. I have some from Make Your Own. I have some from Nurture Soap. I've never used Easy Colors personally. My previous business partner used Easy Colors, and as far as I can tell, I could be wrong about this, but as far as I can tell, all dyes are water soluble. So I know that there's like, oh, these are water soluble dyes, they're easier. Hate to break it to you, but I'm pretty sure that all dyes are water soluble. So as long as you're using dyes, you don't need polysorbate 80. You don't need anything to emulsify it or to spread it in the water. It's water soluble. It's going to do that itself. I'm going to take these gloves off before I touch my phone so that I don't have it looking like, because you know, one drop of dye is like, I look like I murdered somebody. I'm trying to save it so I don't have to throw it away, because the price of gloves, like, oh my god, some of my people that I wholesale to have like complained about the prices. I've had to raise prices, and I'm like, yeah, but there's like basic things that like you never even, like the price of rubbing alcohol or the price of gloves, like things that you never even had to really factor into your cost of goods that are like through the roof now. Okay, so let's see if there are any questions, comments. Come here. Let's see. Okay, Danielle's saying the Chunkadust link. Yes, thank you, and I'll share that. Hi, Nectarina. Leah. My middle name is Lea, so I'm always like curious. How do you say it? Do you say Leah or do you say Lee? Because I've seen it like people go either way with it. Yeah, so it's Chunkadust, and I will share the link with it. The item I'm using is called an Embed maker, I believe. It's not from Kata. No, it's not. Thank you, Ashley. I'm so glad that you guys enjoy the Make With Me Mondays. It's just something that, like, I've done lives for my business page for over a year, and so I'm kind of already in the habit of doing one a week, and so asked Amanda kind of as we were going into this year, like, hey, what do you think about doing that? And it's been very exciting. Oh, speaking of Amanda, you guys know that she has moved. She or some of you may know this, but so Amanda has moved. So we have the blue color study. So that is coming, right? We're just letting things settle because Amanda has moved. She's taken her little gypsy lifestyle, and it's like, I'm so jealous, but they're down in Florida right now, and so, you know, we're just letting things kind of settle and stuff like that, but we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing, and we still have all the boot camps. We still have tons of color studies. Jocelyn likes my shirt. I'm making Valentine's Day stuff today, so I needed to get in the mood. My favorite creeper is this guy. So, all right, guys. There's so many more comments on here. A lot of people are saying hi. I will go back through if I see any more questions. I'll try to answer them, and I'll definitely share the links. I'll share the links for the Embed maker where I get my dyes, bulk, dry goods, if you guys are interested in that as well. And that's pretty much it for today, but happy making.